Meeting for Tuesday, March 3rd. Please call the roll.
Mr. Capper.
Here.
Mr. Emmerich.
Here.
Mrs. Westphal.
Here.
Okay, we have minutes of both our meetings, February 11 and February 19, before us. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? That one correction was made on the special meeting.
Nothing additional.
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, they stand approved. Jeremy, good afternoon. Do you have any report in addition to your written report?
Just first of all, I apologize for how small that was. I forgot to resize that first sheet, so I know I strained your eyes again. Not resizing that, but the biggest thing, the project at Senior Citizens is just about to wrap up. As you know, we were there helping with the kitchen remodel, and they're in painting now. But I anticipate an open house there to come soon, and just a phenomenal job by our crew. All that was done by Park Department staff, and they are extremely pleased there. We benefit, it's our building, we benefit from all the work that was put into it and the money spent, so from the estate. So very good job there. Other than that, other crews are wrapping up tree work. We're in the process of trying to wrap up tree work for the season as we start to transition into soccer season and baseball and softball and all that getting ramped up. So soccer starts, I believe the first games are March 21st. So in the next week or so, we'll start to line fields and prepare fields for the season. So we really start to ramp up here into a busy time. We are going to rest a couple fields at Duke Park, thankfully, on the south end. Much needed repairs going into a couple fields there, and those will get overseeded and rested for the spring season at least, so that's going to help a lot. But other than that, we're just starting to really ramp up and looking forward to nicer weather.
Thank you. Any questions of our park superintendent? Okay, Mr. Seiler, good afternoon. Very successful concert on Sunday night, I saw.
Yes, we had a very nice turnout,
Yeah.
and the promoter of the event was very happy. We've kind of switched gears from that now, and we're preparing for the Ohio High School Athletic Association's district wrestling tournament, which will take place this Friday and Saturday. And outside of that, we're just working on preparing for, as Jeremy mentioned, kind of softball and soccer will be ramping up here soon, and we're preparing for our girls softball program there with on the rec side. And just a few other events here, random events coming up over the course of the next few weeks.
Tell me about the Urban Meyer concert. What's he singing?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what he sings. It's an event sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and honestly, I don't know that there's a specific subject that he's discussing. I think it was never really.
He's a speaker.
Yeah, just a speaking engagement. So it's tabbed as an evening with Urban Meyer, is what the contract with the chamber was indicated.
Cool. Okay. I did get a comment the other night about, are we using that facility any longer for basketball games? But I think with all the new venues around, most of the new venues are taking the high school basketball games, are they not?
So over the course of the last probably 15 years, many high schools have built new gyms. A lot of those gyms are larger and can accommodate the state sectional tournament games. So we have a basketball court, we have basketball goals, and if the state were to be interested in utilizing our venue, we certainly would do that. I think obviously they use a lot of the high school gyms because the court is there and in place and ready for them to use.
Do you actively pursue that, or are we losing money on ice if we pursue that?
That's the challenge we have, is the fact that we're displacing ice revenue, and we do have a basketball event, so to a certain degree it would be displacing revenue with other revenue, but I think on the back end we probably would be ahead from a concessions perspective. So it's just a matter of, how that would shake out, the number of people in attendance, and if that would offset the lost ice revenue that we would displace.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of Mr. Seiler?
No.
Okay, Kyler, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Do you have anything to add to your report?
I would just add our opening date for golf will be tomorrow, March 4th, just due to the weather and the snow. We'll open up for walking tomorrow, and then as far as carts go, We don't have a date set yet. That's just more of a play it by ear situation. We still have a lot of worm castings that create some mud issues really, and plus the ground is just really soft right now. So we kind of need another freeze day to be able to go out and drag and break up those chunks of mud in order to allow carts out. So that could be done as early as Friday, and we may be able to let carts out over the weekend. If it also just the wind and drier weather could help that as well, so that we could get out there and start mowing fairways. But we do anticipate starting to mow greens tomorrow and at least let people out for walking. Just wanted to say a thank you to the cemetery staff. Actually, we just recently put in a small retaining wall right outside of the cart barn, and they helped out with that, both with manpower and some equipment usage. So just wanted to say thank you to them. And then, yeah, other than that, we're really just kind of getting staff and everything in order. So on our end, that looks good this year, and we're rocking and ready to go.
Okay, any questions of our Director of Golf?
No.
Thank you, Kyler.
Sure.
I have no planning commission report. No business, new business. Authorization for DP&L to relocate through Joe Reardon Skate Park. Jill, did you have something you want to discuss there?
Good afternoon. So as in advance of the West Main Street Corridor project, we've been working with DP&L. City staff has been working with DP&L to talk about relocation of a lot of their mains along Main Street off of Main Street. And so they've kind of identified improvements that need to be made. And one of the things they came to us about was saying, well, hey, can we run it across the southern part and the eastern side of Joe Reardon Skate Park? And so we're here today to talk to you guys about that. There is an attached map, and it kind of does show what they're proposing right now from a location standpoint. We do realize it goes through some trees, and so one of the things after we talked to you guys about the park board about requesting easements and just getting the okay from you guys to proceed and continue to coordinate with DP&L, we're going to go back to DP&L, have them locate the poles in the field, and then we'll work with Jeremy in the park department to minimize the impact with respects to any kind of trees that need to come down.
I'm going to ask a question, but I'm not going to interrupt you.
Okay.
I just did, I guess.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, so that's a lot of what we're talking about here is talking about the routing. Can we go through the Joe Reardon Skate Park? Would you guys be okay with that? It won't affect any of the man-made, I don't know what you call equipment. Yes, apparatus regarding the skate park. And so that's where they've kind of located it. Now, we will be kind of straddling and potentially going over the bike path too. So we're going to be working with DP&L to figure out where exactly this pole line is going to be. In talking to Jeremy was kind of like, hey, up against that railroad track would be the best. So we're going to work with DP&L to try and relocate it so that, again, any of the mature trees that are really enjoyed and provide a lot of shade in the middle of the park are not affected.
My question dealt with the existing poles. A number of existing poles. I would imagine you're taking the route this way to get rid of some of these existing poles, right?
The existing poles that are there, I haven't actually gone out. I don't think at this point that they're not DP&L electric poles. So maybe they're a couple of night guard poles. I'm not certain. And so we could probably talk to DP&L about, hey, can we get our night guard off of, but DP&L's also recently reevaluated their policy about any kind of street lights or any kind of night guards that come off, they need to be metered. And so if this is metered, it may be as easy as moving it. We can talk to DP&L about that, but it may not be as easy as moving it.
I'm sorry, you missed my question.
Oh.
The poles along the road.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, those are.
They will be removed.
Because you're going to be.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about in the
That's
park.
fine. And there's a fencing back there now owned by the property owner, so you're basically going to go right next to that fencing.
Choreographics.
Yeah.
Yes. Just north of that. Yep.
So, either one of you have any questions?
No, looks like minimal. There's no impact really to
No.
what they're using now.
And they can't be buried, it has to be poles?
Correct, they cannot be buried. We're requesting them to go overhead. Well, it can't be, these utilities cannot be buried, yeah.
Okay, so you're requesting from us a resolution authorizing you to continue to negotiate the placement of these within an easement within our
Yes,
skate park?
and then we will finalize the easement, like, so, after we get the location of the poles, then we'll finalize the easement and get that document. An easement doesn't necessarily, typically, like anything that is recorded with the county, doesn't need property owner signatures. Well, hang on,
Yeah, it does.
it needs property owner, sorry, it does need property owner signatures. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I've been taking a lot of easements through council, sorry. So, yeah, so we'd be coming back here for those signatures. If we can authorize that today, you know, any signatures that come in the future, that would be great
One of
as
the things
well.
this doesn't talk about, unless I missed it here, was the width of the easement.
You are correct, I believe it's 20 feet. I believe it's 20 feet.
That's a good sized easement.
And that's really for them to be able, if they have to get to the pole, to replace the pole, you start talking about getting a truck in there, that's what it is. So that's why, again, I don't think along the north property line of Corey Graphics or the south, kind of the south property line of skate
Right.
park, I don't think that will be affected. I don't think there's any trees there. And then getting it on the other side of that bike path, I think would be within a 20-foot easement and wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Okay.
So that's what we plan to talk to DP&L about.
So there's going to be an easement presented to us by DP&L probably, or it's going to be reviewed by our law director before it comes to us.
Yeah.
And we'll have to authorize that, but for now, you want a kind of an indication that it's okay.
Yeah,
to
that it's
proceed.
okay, yep, that we proceed to talk to DP&L, that it can generally be routed through the skate park, kind of getting that nod from you guys so that we
Subject
can,
to further review.
yep.
Okay, so moved. Is there a
Second that.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll, Abby.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes,
Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mrs. Westphal?
Yes.
thank you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Other matters. There's come to my attention that we may or may not have had something in our minutes concerning the Pete Jenkins statue that will be in Mayor's Park. We've searched our minutes, and apparently we don't have any resolution authorizing such placement. Could you talk to us a little bit about the placement, Mr. Drake?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that it would be just off of we've got the mayor's walkway that leads basically off the sidewalk up to the fountain area. Would just be just off of that, no impact to existing landscape that's there. The tree that's kind of behind the sign, the City of Troy, kind of the gateway sign, it'll be basically behind that or toward Weston, I believe it is. So that's not impacted, the fountain's not impacted. Very little impact, only enhancements to the existing landscape that's there in the park.
Which way will he be facing?
That I'm not sure of. Do we have that information, Mr. Terrington or Mrs. Knight, about the way that the Pete Jenkins statue would be facing? I don't know the direction.
Don't even
That's why I
start
was
that.
asking.
Don't even start that.
We don't know the answer.
Do not walk up to this microphone and talk.
Well, I would go ahead and move the authorization for the placement of a statue in honor of Pete Jenkins in Mayor's Park in a location to be determined and approved by our park superintendent.
I can second that.
Any further discussion? Are you okay with that, Jeremy?
Yes.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mrs. Westphal?
Yes.
Mr. Pennington, do you have anything else to come before the commission? Mrs. Knight, did you have anything?
Just to mention that I sent you the date for the Air Force Band of Flight concert down at Treasure Island Park, and that's been coordinated with all the departments. So, and that was on the list, but without a date.
Thank you. Commission have anything else they want to discuss? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.